Well, here we are discussing one of the most beloved series of all time, especially for us retro gamers. And if you guys love retro video games and Contra as much as I do, you guys will know this list was really hard to make. Now, I may even get some hate on this list. Oh well. Where do we start though? How about the history of Contra? And if there's one person who knows this history, it's Indiana Jones, but he didn't get back to me. So, we're gonna go with Norm, the gaming historian. Norm?
Hey everyone, Gaming Historian here to give you a brief history of the Contra series. The game that started it all was first released in arcades in 1987, which happened to be a few months after the secrets involving the US in the Iran-Contra affair was made public. Basically, the United States got into some trouble when they decided to sell weapons to Iran and use the funds to provide support for Nicaraguan rebels, known as Contras. Was the game named after the Contras? There's no confirmation or denial of this. However, there is a music track in the game named Sandinista, which happens to be the same name as the government party the rebels were fighting against. Coincidence? Anyways, the game helped popularize the run-and-gun shooting genre, and the game was soon ported to the NES in 1988. In Europe, it was known as Probotector, and all the human enemies were replaced with robots. This was due to a German law that placed heavy restrictions on games featuring humans killing other humans. The NES cover art also featured characters that looked very similar to popular entertainment icons at the time. Contra is considered one of the hardest games ever made. IGN put it at number 1 of their top 10 toughest games to beat. The game is also synonymous with the Konami code. However, it isn't the first game to feature the code. That would be Gradius. Due to its popularity, Konami churned out plenty of sequels and follow-ups. Although it's not as well known in modern gaming, it's pretty much a classic series in the retro gaming scene. Well, that's all from me. Back to you guys.
He's so handsome. Well, here we go with our top 5 Contra games.
Number 5.
Contra 4. So I don't play the DS as much as I would like to, I'm willing to admit it, but when a friend showed me Contra 4 on the DS and I played it, I fell in love with it. So a long time after Operation C on the Game Boy was released, Contra 4 was given to us in 2007, and holy Probotector, this game was brilliant. Now, this is the first original handheld Contra game in 16 years, and unlike many of the prior console installments, this will not disappoint. One of the first things I noticed was how perfectly the dual screen worked here. You will be needing to be on the lookout for bullets and falling objects from the sky. There is no touchscreen during this gameplay, which I adore as I'm not a big fan of touchscreen. I'm playing a video game. While this Contra feels and looks very evolved for the early Contra days, it also has that nostalgia feel, and it pays homage to the original stellar side-scroller with its never-ending action and heart-pumping boss battles. So I must say I was pretty shocked at how good the sound sounded coming out of the DS. It was fantastic and it kept my blood flowing, and, well, since it's Contra, you know you'll need it.
Number 4.
Super C. Super C on the NES did something most sequels have a very hard time doing: not fixing it if it ain't broken. The original Contra was brilliant, and Konami did the right thing by sticking to what works. Konami, what have you done? Most of all the familiar weapons are still here, and yes, that includes the one that we all love most. Say it with me. The laser. Huh? The fire weapon was changed to an orb-type gun, which is pretty magnificent, but I did also love the original one as well, though. Another reason I love this game is that it feels like the original Contra, but basically with a new map pack. Don't you dare compare it to Call of Duty. Now, I know most people don't like the top-down levels since you cannot strafe, duck, or jump, but I find it great as it adds a wonderful new element to the game, and it kind of reminds me of other classics that I've grown to love, such as Ikari Warriors and Commando. So the gameplay and control is perfect, just like the original, but maybe even just a little bit tighter, which make the games even better during all that mayhem and bullet-filled screens that you know you're going to accompany. Super C is quite simply tremendous. Right, Norm?
Number 3.
Contra Hardcore. The title for Contra Hardcore on the Sega Genesis says it all. Hardcore. Score? Hardcorpse? Hardcore. I am admitting this right now. This is the only Contra game that's in the retro realm that I have never beaten and never gotten close.
You freaking poser! You're talking about a game you never even beat before.
This game was released in 1994, and I feel it was a little overlooked, and I also feel that it's due to it being on the Sega Genesis, as Contra seemed to be mostly known for being on the Nintendo, and that really sucks, and that's a big shame because this game was seriously bad to the bone. You can also choose between 4 different characters, which was only done previously in 1992 by Contra Force, and well, in Contra Force. The character designs here are rich with detail, and all the backgrounds are just outright beautiful. In Contra Hardcore, you can also hold up to 4 weapons at the same time, and you can switch them on the fly, and each one is great for its own use. It also features a plot that evolves throughout the game and lets you choose your destiny. This is superb, and if you have not played Contra Hardcore, then, well, go buy it. Or borrow it. Or, no, don't emulate it.
Number 2.
Contra.
Okay, I'm ready for my beating!
One of the most beautiful sounds to any gamer anywhere. Contra on the NES is one of my most loved games of all time. Now, I would go into the history, but...
Hey everyone, gaming historian here to give you a brief history of the Contra series.
This game to me started the whole running and gunning type games. Something about the music, the sounds, the bullets, anything really. It's just so great here. You play as Bill Reiser and Lance Bean, and these two have become a staple as some of the most bad-to-the-bone dudes of all time. Seriously, who fights aliens shirtless? Contra did it right with giving us unlimited ammo, as the game is so in your face that an ammo count would really have slowed the game down. Contra has always been known for the difficulty, and this is no exception. As we all know, you can be granted 30 lives with the Konami code, which was actually first featured in Gradius. But a true Contra master doesn't really seem to need the 30 lives. It's possible to beat it without it. I did it in my younger days, and recently I tried it and sucked, but it's possible. I can openly say wholeheartedly that Contra on the NES is purely impeccable. And it really does hold a special place in my heart.
Number 1.
Contra 3, The Alien Wars. Contra 3, The Alien Wars. This game has so much meaning to me. I first played this as a child while I was sick, and oh my gosh, I remember the intro scared the heck out of me, as I mentioned in my top 5 moments of gaming. As soon as I got home with this, I crawled right into my mom and dad's bedroom, because that's where the Super Nintendo was at the time because my dad was playing it, turned out the lights and put in Contra 3, The Alien Wars. I can't tell you how excited I am right now. As soon as I flipped that game on, I heard that beautiful Konami sound come on, and then this happened. I was scared out of my mind. I'm not joking when I say I saw that image that night in my nightmares. And just so all of you know out there, I swear when I say this, I actually have that reoccurring nightmare all the time. I'm dead serious. But besides that, the game blew me away. As a child, I was looking at one of my favorite games of all time, but in my opinion, upgraded. The game felt smoother, the graphics looked better to me, the music was also ingrained in my heart just as the original. Now I have beat this masterpiece more times than I can count, but this game features some of the most intense over-the-top action I had ever experienced, with riding in tanks, hanging onto flying robots, jumping from missile to missile while shooting a large boss, and oh man, the bosses here are intense. The dead turtle type boss in the first level is nightmare inducing. Oh, and how about this? Okay, this is what I was actually talking about. This is horrifying and extremely action-packed. This stands out as one of my favorite boss fights of all time. It's pretty wild to think that I honestly get a bigger sense of rush and a bigger sense of action playing this than I do almost playing any new game. Contra 3: The Alien Wars is purely faultless to me. I have zero gripes with the game. I love it all, and this game will simply always live in my heart as the greatest Contra game in existence. Long live the Contra series. The Contra series really is one of the greatest series of all time, and I didn't include the arcades because I didn't play them as much, but when I did, they were awesome, so I know they're good as well. I simply want to thank Konami for this amazing series, and I know that may sound dumb or cheesy, but I really had a lot of good memories with my brothers as a kid playing these, and to this day, so I really do want to thank them for this awesome series. Long live Contra. Thanks for watching. Wait a sec! I forgot to ask Norm, the gaming historian, what his favorite Contra game is. Hey Norm, what's your favorite Contra? Norm! Gaming historian! Hey Norm! That's it! Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Norm, the gaming historian. And if you guys have not seen or heard of his channel, I highly recommend you do. The Gaming Historian really is an amazing channel on YouTube, and you will learn a lot of things about video games you may not have known. And no, his video is not a clickable annotation. My annotations haven't been working lately, so I gave up. So I'll leave a link in the description below. Make sure and check it out. Oh, and also hit the like button on this video. Well, that is, if you enjoyed the video.